In Last Word Standing, the objective of the game is to use letters to spell increasingly high-scoring words. The action cards the players play will give their words advantages in an effort to ensure that they have the last word standing. The first player to score 75 points will win the game. To set up the game, shuffle the letter and action decks separately and then place each of them face down, leaving room for a discard pile for each deck. Each player picks a scoring marker and places it on the start box of the score tracker, and then takes the information card that matches. Give the first player card to the player who last looked up a word in the dictionary. They deal 2 letter cards and 1 action card to each player, who may look at their hand of cards, but should keep them a secret from all other players. Draw the top 2 cards from the letter deck and place them face up in the center of the table. Before starting the game, agree on an official dictionary, either online or offline. It's up to you if you want to allow the use of proper nouns. Each round consists of 4 total phases: the card claim phase, the wordplay phase, the score phase, and the exchange phase. Starting with the first player and proceeding clockwise, start the card claim phase. The first player draws a number of cards from the letter deck equal to the number of players plus 1, and then they add them to the community cards on the table. Each player in turn order chooses a letter card from the community cards and adds it to their hand. Should a player wish to claim a card preemptively, they may discard an action card to take a card out of turn. But be careful, other players can stop you with other action cards, so make sure you have a backup action card. That way, you can immediately try again if you really need a specific letter to spell the word you're trying to spell. If the player claims a card with a draw action card on it, then they may also draw the top card from the action deck. Keep in mind that each player is limited to a total of 12 letter cards in their hand. After this, players move on to the wordplay phase. Starting with the first player and moving clockwise, players may choose to play a word or pass. Playable words must be at least 3 letters long and must be spelled using at least 1 letter card from their hand. They may also use any number of community cards and up to 2 letter cards copied from other players' words using action cards. The first word played in the wordplay phase is laid down to spell the word and then indicate if any community cards are needed to complete it. Action cards may be used to modify the word's value. The value of the word is determined and then it becomes the standing word. Play then continues in turn order and players can play words to challenge the current standing word, even if they've passed in previous rounds. The only rule is that the new word played must have a higher value than the standing word. Any words that have been successfully challenged can then be upgraded when that player's turn comes around. If no words are played during the wordplay phase, then the players skip immediately to the exchange phase. But if there was at least 1 word played, then play proceeds to the score phase. During the score phase, each player moves their scoring marker along the score tracker based on how many points that they earned. The player of the standing word scores full point value for their word. All other players score half of the point value of the last word that they played, rounded down. Then discard all letter cards played during the wordplay phase. This includes any community cards used to spell a word. Then each player with fewer than 2 remaining letter cards in their hand will draw until they have 2. If there are fewer than 2 community cards on the table, draw until there are 2 ready for the next round. And so long as no player has reached 75 points, we'll move on to the exchange phase. If they had reached 75 points, then the game would end. During the exchange phase, any player in turn order may either discard 1 letter card from their hand and draw the top card of the letter deck, or they may discard 2 letter cards and draw the top card of the action deck. Then the first player card passes to the left and a new round begins. If any one player has reached 75 points, then the game is over. And if more than one player has reached 75 points, then the highest score wins. And if there's a tie, then you both win. And that's how you play Last Word Standing. Let us know in the comments below the first word game that you ever played. Be bold, play games, be you. Happy gaming!